It started off with a simple night of sitting down and watching TV together. Images flicked back and forth across the screen. Eventually, it showed a man standing in front of a rainbow flag and talking about how he owned a hotel that welcomed all couples, no matter their sexuality. I felt my heart light up. I couldn't help but feel the joy of people being accepting towards others despite their differences. I glanced across the room at my dad, who was reclining on the maroon leather couch with his nose wrinkled in distaste. My little brother scoffed at the TV and turned his head away. Those people are disgusting. I can't believe they would show that on TV. The words were barely able to escape his lips when immediate rage filled me from head to toe. I know. I'm sorry you had to see that, my dad said sympathetically, as if my brother had just watched someone be murdered right before his eyes. You can't say that about people. Theirs is the same as you, but with different beliefs. Your brother is allowed to think what he wants. He is right. They are revolting because they are going against God's will. It isn't your God's will to call other people disgusting and judge them based on their actions, is it? I snapped. He would not want you to look at other people without knowing them and saying they are disgusting. If anything, you're the ones acting vile. All people are equal. My dad stomped towards me and got down to my level. I could feel my body trembling with unease. These people are in the wrong. Who are you to stand up for them? We have every right to say what we want about them, my dad snarled. Thoughts raced in circles around my head. As quickly as I could, I squirmed away from him and made a mad dash for my room. Slamming the door behind me, the air that had been clogging my throat came unstuck and a sob broke past my lips. I haven't been able to stop myself from wondering ever since that experience if that is how it will be when my parents find out. I will no longer be their precious daughter. I'll be a bad stain that you can't get rid of. I'll be looked at as a sin rather than a person for something that I do not have control of. I have found comfort in my few friends that have relatable problems to mine. They all tell me that there is nothing to worry about, and that once I am out of the house, I can do what I want and without having to worry about my parents. While I know that this is true, that's not the thing that concerns me. I'm worried about whether or not my family will still love me and stay in contact with me even after I tell them the truth. I have finally grown to accept myself despite my sexuality, but I know that others won't accept me no matter what I do. But maybe that's okay. The people who take me in and love me as I am currently are the people I should keep near me and never let go of. And hopefully my family will be included in that group someday.
When I was younger, I realized there was something different about me. I didn't really like playing with Barbie dolls or wearing dresses. I preferred hanging around the boys and playing with action figures and cars and playing in the mud. And even playing with the insects sometimes and frogs. Not that many people liked me. I got picked on. It made me very sad. When I started to hit puberty, that's when it got hard. I felt fat and ugly, and I got bullied for being the tomboy. But I knew there was something more to me, something that was missing. I didn't know who I was. But then I got a phone one day and discovered the term transgender. And I looked it up, and it made so much more sense to me. I realized that I was transgender. I didn't tell anyone until grade 8. I was too scared to come out because I thought people wouldn't like me. But surprisingly, no one really hated me for it. I had so many friends who cared and tried their best to understand. But sadly, some people didn't. But that's okay. It's hard to understand. Now I'm very happy with who I am. And I'm proud to be myself.
I'll never forget my first proper all-consuming crush. I was about 8 years old and she was a teacher from my school. My cheeks would sting if she'd look at me or if I heard her gentle, song-like voice. I went on to have lots of boy crushes in school too. I was very much a daydreamer. I'd build entire relationships in my head with famous actors and actresses and book characters even. I fancied both Sirius Black and Hermione from Harry Potter. I even made my Barbie dolls kiss one another and also kiss my brother's Action Man toys. During my teenage years, where many of my female friends would describe their heterosexuality by saying that women are just beautiful to look at, Sometimes I thought they were right and figured that's all it was. I was just admiring their bodies. I'd think I was jealous of certain girls, like this one girl, let's call her Jenny. But deep down, I think I knew I was simply attracted to her. I wanted to kiss her, and in the same way, I wanted to be intimate with my then boyfriend. One weekend, then boyfriend and I had a huge fight and went on a break. So I went to a party to distract myself and ended up kissing another girl for the first time in my life. It felt so right and so natural. Bisexuality wasn't a word that commonly cropped up in conversation. Many just figured that us girls would make out with each other solely for the sake of guys at parties in order to gauge their interest. This negative connotation followed me around like a giant leering shadow monster after my first couple of kissing girls at parties experiences. And it forced me to want to repress and repress and repress. I also started browsing online forums about liking both boys and girls at the same time. Is it possible? Am I just a lesbian in denial? I felt very lost and so confused about my sexual identity. During university, I tried to keep my head down and focus on my studies, but there were beautiful, confident girls everywhere I turned. One day at the college bar, I locked eyes with a gorgeous redhead several times. I could almost taste my own guilt, smell my own shame. I felt trapped. One day, I came upon a book all about bisexuality. I read and I read and I realised I didn't have to prove anything to anybody. I didn't need to be afraid to accept myself for who I am. Coming out as bisexual to those close to me has been one of the most freeing experiences of my life. It's been a huge part of my journey to loving and respecting myself entirely. I'm bi, and I'm rather happy about that.